Hey, what's up, guys? It's Malaysian Quita here for Media Fame TV. Another episode. So today's topic is a topic that today I've noticed that there is just a huge lack of an African American female presence in rock and metal as being a radio DJ. I found like maybe three black women, and they all transitioned into R&B and urban market. So they didn't stay in rock. So I kind of wanted to do an opinion vlog today and get you guys opinions as well about why is there this lack of people of color, especially women of color, in rock and metal. Because if you look way back historically at rock and roll, it was dominated by all different types of ethnic groups, but in particular, it was white and African American. So it's so funny how, like, throughout the years, rock and metal became something in a sense that's like exclusively for white people, and that's in the US. Now, if you go overseas, like if you go to Germany and all kinds of other places around the world, this rule does not apply at all. There are so many women of color that are doing really like power metal and symphonic metal and all of that. But for some reason in the US, there is still this stigma. I mean, there's groups like Straight Line Stitch and Wicked Wisdom, and at one time there was an artist, she's amazing, her name was Reese, and she kind of combined those three elements together. And then it was like radio did not know like how to like push her records, because she wasn't necessarily R&B, but at the same time she wasn't necessarily 100% rock or metal. And it sucks, especially like, okay, like for me growing up as a person of color and being a woman, I enjoyed, okay, LL Cool J's Mama Said Knock You Out, but at the same time, I enjoyed Poison. And I got ostracized by, like, white people would be like, well, why are you listening to, like, rock and metal? It's kind of, like, weird. Like, some, not all, but just the ones that I was dealing with at the time. And then I had black people or other people of color being like really rock and metal, like that's so lame. And I feel that rock and metal is that like working class music. It's for like everybody, and it still can have, and that's the thing that irritates me too a lot of times about when people perceive rock and metal is like it's basic. No, rock and metal as genres of music within the music industry, it is very complex. Like playing those riffs and understanding how to be melodic in rock and metal is completely different than the melodicism that is in the urban industry, and even the technology. I mean, you still have to, like back in the day, yeah, you had to really be a good musician, but now, with technology and things like that, it changes. Everything's been changing. But I feel like I get irritated sometimes when I go to rock concerts or if I go to metal concerts as a person of color, and I get stared at by like white people. When if rock and metal, like I watched that show, they call it That Metal Show. Not once did I see any people of color on there. And that bothered me a lot, because people of color have also contributed, made huge contributions, like the guy from Seven Dust. And the fact that I don't even know his name, but I know Ozzy Osbourne, I know Lita Ford, I know, Nancy Wilson from Heart, and it's still, I'm still kind of learning more about the industry, because rock and metal is something that you really, just like any genre of music that you're learning about, you really want to spend time with it. And then to DJ it. It is not easy DJing rock and metal. It's really, really not. And, excuse me, being a female and being a woman of color and doing rock and metal and starting to DJ with that. And I'm even looking to see if I can work online with a rock and metal station, and it's hard to find openings, especially when they find out that you're like not white. And I think that music should not have a racial label to it. And I think that more rock and metal stations should be hiring more people of color, because music is for everybody. I don't understand. It's like very irritating to me that like I'm watching all these metal shows and I admire all these people. Race doesn't, ethnicity doesn't have anything to do with it. I love Megadeth. I love Metallica. And I love the people before them too because they're the ones that created this music that we listen to today. And I don't understand. There were African American like metal bands, but they had to all be like all African American, metal bands, and that's sad that we can't even integrate with our music and our taste. So what I'm really 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 hoping to do is to my dream job would be able to work at like a rock and metal station and learn more. And I'm learning more about the culture. I'm watching documentaries, and even here on Media Fame TV, I'm going to be interviewing a lot of artists of color who are that have that aggressiveness, that edginess to them, as well as people of color who work in this industry. I'm really going to seek them out and cover all spectrums of the music industry because like I was really in this mindset that I wanted to get away from urban music was because it was like I got tired of people like it's like you either have to be all urban or you have to be all rock and metal, and I'm kind of like in between. I'm kind of like I'm like a soulful metalhead. So that's what I'm gonna call you guys, like soulful metalheads. Like yeah, soulful metalheads. But that's just how I am. And it's just really, 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 really frustrating, and it's really sad that there's not a lot of women of color that are in this rock and metal industry as DJs, and I hope to change that. I hope to be able to work for a station someday. I think that would just be so awesome, and to really break through that barrier line again and change things. So what do you guys think about today's topic? Like, why isn't there a lot more women of color doing rock and metal, not only as musicians but as DJs? So you can email us, which is at mediafametv@gmail.com. These videos are actually going to be done every other day. And that's just because I have my other channel, which you can visit too, which is youtube.com/BelazianQuita. I will have all the links below. And remember, that is our world and our rules.